Well, hospital porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panwo TV. And I'm going to take you on a very, very interesting journey today, because I'm in Nottingham. As you can see here, this is Nottingham. Give you a 360 there. That's Nottingham Castle over there. But I'm not really interested in what's above ground. I'm interested in what's underground, because I'm going to this exhibition, the City of Caves. I've got this guidebook here. I'm going to investigate one of the interesting things about Nottingham, which is that it's known that for a very, very long time there's been a large cave system underneath the city, and this dates back, we know, since at least the 9th century. In fact, the Old English name for Nottingham was Tiguacubak, which apparently means the place of the caves. So that's these caves are artificial apparently, and they've been dug out of the soft sandstone underneath the city, and there's believed to be 500 at least below the streets, according to the British Geological Survey, although there may be a lot more. But this is the largest collection of artificial sandstone locations in the country. Really quite something. As you'll be seeing, I'll be showing you them and talking a bit more about them, and we'll be seeing them properly. But there's lots of myths and legends associated with the caves. At various times, the Nottingham caves are believed to have been used by Druids. They contained an underground fortress, large subterranean communities, and even forests. Maybe that's where Nottingham Forest FC got its name from. However, if there were forests, then presumably these weren't abnormal trees. These would have been some kind of fungus, large fungus or something like that. But there's other things here, like there's talk that Dick Turpin used the caves to hide in, and it's true. I mean, both sides of the law have used these caves in times. They've been used for smuggling, for stowing. There's treasure buried here, believed to be. Some of them were used as prison cells, some of them were used as beer cellars for pubs, and some of them still are. A testimony to this is that there's a large number of sinkholes appeared here. See, there's several stories of entire houses and even streets disappearing into sinkholes, that's sometimes the first time a new cave is discovered here. But we'll be going to the exhibition, and I'm very interested to see it indeed. Taking us staying with me. We're looking forward to it very, very much. What's unbelievable is the cave we're going to go and see, which is underneath the Broad Marsh Centre, and actually makes up part of the foundations of the new shopping centre, which was built in 1975. That is only one of only two which is open to the public. There's another one which is up near Drury Hill, which is used for paranormal tours. Apparently there's a large paranormal investigation site around here. I mean, it's a large place of paranormal investigation. There's lots of alleged ghost sightings and things like that around these caves. Now, it says in this guidebook that there's a persistent myth that many of the Nottingham caves are connected, and it's possible to walk under whole sections of the city using these caves. This is definitely not true. Well, I was speaking to someone who told me that it is possible, and it's not, the public can't do it, but archaeologists have done it when they're investigating. You can walk all the way from Broad Marsh to the Victoria Centre. That's over half a mile through one of the caves. And as I said, the vast majority of these caves, all but two, are not accessible to the public. There's some that are still being excavated. There's some down there probably unknown. So questions abound about what's really going on down there. But I know from experience and from my research that wherever you've got large amounts of caves, especially man-made caves, it's usually to do with something covert, something secret. I'm actually very interested to know. I mean, it didn't appear on the map whether there are caves underneath the Masonic Centre at the Assembly Rooms, which of course is where we had the AMASH conference last year, if you remember. The Assembly Rooms with all the Masonic symbolism everywhere. So this is what we're going to have to look into. So, I mean, this is the, I'm just going through the little guidebook I picked up, and I'm just going to have a walk through here, and I'm looking forward very much to seeing it. And, of course, I mean, we know about modern underground facilities like Peasmore and Area 51, but there's nothing new about people doing that, about people building underground structures to keep them away from the public eye. I mean, it says in the guidebook that Druids are rumoured to have used the caves, underground communities, forests underground. I'm curious to see if there are any about the caves that are not yet explored and where they might lead. I mean, there's similar things in Oxford I'll have to talk to you about, not quite as extensive as in Nottingham, but at some point I'll have to do a little bit about the Oxford caves and the catacombs of Oxford and things like that. Ellis Taylor would be really interested in this. I hope he's watching. Please do watch, Ellis. Right, well, I'm off now to visit those caves, and I'll hopefully do a bit of filming in there if they're not going with big signs up everywhere saying you can't film in here, and we'll see what happens. So if you care to accompany me, we shall proceed. And that there is the Broad Marsh shopping centre, built opened 1975, and it's on this street here underneath this sadly chemtrail riven sky above Nottingham. Now underneath this walkway is the oldest part of the Nottingham cave system, or at least it's the oldest part that's publicly available, although as I said, there's so much mystery associated with these caves. We don't know for sure exactly what might be down there. We don't know about. There's a lot of mystery. But anyway, some of the caves built beneath, it's the foundations beneath this shopping centre, and that's where I'm going to be going now. So I'm a bit apprehensive, but right, if I get lost, you won't be watching this anyway. So if you're watching this, it means I found my way out. See you in a minute. Well, hospital porters, pride and dignity stop the New World Order. And in the caves, and here they are.
And you will see some of the many tons of concrete used to strengthen the caves during the construction of the Broad Marsh shopping centre.
Look at these caves.
Make our way down the next flight of steps to what wouldn't be the bottom of the cliff.
What's this?
When you are ready, please make your way down the next flight of stairs, taking care that there are no visitors on their way back out, and remembering to use the handrails at all
This might have been somebody's bed, or where people used to live down here. Archie's archaeological dig.
Stop by the well on the left-hand side. Word number 2 on the audio guide. Wells, and press play.
Okay. So this is, we're in the first section now. We're just going to move to the next one in a minute.
Take the weight off your feet.
We're in the Horseshoe cave.
We call this the Horseshoe.
This ceiling is like, it's like crumbling. It's like sand. It's sandstone. It's more sand than stone.
Many of them still in use, but this one closed for business some time ago. The metal door that sits in the entry to a much smaller tunnel was added to the double deck between buildings above used as a
Really
solicitor's
weird.
office. We believe this is where they may have stored their important documents.
Feel free to pause and read, everybody. So. Sheepskin, goatskin, the tannery. Should put the guide on and put the next part on. We've got this little audio guide, this thing here, which tells us as we go along. That's the voice you can sometimes hear out on tannery. There we are.
The next section of caves that you're about to see were first used in around 1250 AD. They were initially used as oil kilns to make pottery.
Look at this.
By the 16th century, these caves became associated.
It's quite high, that cave. It's quite warm down here. But when I went down into the Hellfire caves, it got colder, but down here it's warmer.
I can imagine just how horrible that job would be to get hold of a piece of skin fresh from an animal carcass and turn it into a piece of leather. The whole process would take many months.
Oh dear. Yuck. Gross.
Can't be that unhygienic then, toilets that don't flush. If they did that.
You better tell them. This part of the cave looks really big, and there's these pits here with sort of like digging tools. And there's pools of water. People lived down here. Right up until the 19th century, people lived in these caves. It's been horrible. Was it that they took their baths or what? To be honest, I'm not so much interested in these caves as some of the others, because there are over 500 caves, and not all of them are open to the public. I wonder what's in the others. That's the question. The Western caves. These caves are still being explored and excavated. Now we've got to go here. Have to put the low light on. You see this? We're not allowed through here. Yeah, look. It is open. These are still being excavated. So there's a lot down here still to be discovered. These caves may predate 1270. That's how old these caves are. They date back to at least the 13th century, maybe older. I'll turn the light off now. The question is, though, if there were, for instance, Illuminati rituals going on in Nottingham at the time, because there is the Illuminati Lodge, the place where we had the Amash conference. What's that called? The place where we had the Amash conference? The assembly rooms. Yeah, so there's a Masonic presence in Nottingham. And the thing about it is they would have used these caves for whatever kind of ritual they do. And what interests me, or what concerns me, is that the archaeologists might stumble upon evidence of that, and they may not want to tell everybody about it. I don't know how much you can see, but above us there is a...
Baker for sale. Ask me. Baker Powder. Oh, that's all.
There's at least 20 feet above us. There's what looks a modern floor, maybe the floor of the Broad Marsh shopping centre. And below us, there's at least another 20 foot down below. There's some more caves below us which we can't get to. But this is a mock-up of an air raid shelter, because these caves were used as air raid shelters in the war. These old posters. I won't ring that. Guess I will. Old World War II fire. And these sort of things people had. Air raid shelters. Should we put the next part of our guided tour on? Here we go. Air raid.
Now we have entered the Second World War, we have lots of caves became very useful to the citizens.
Plastic pipe above us. There's the caves, and that concrete floor, I think, must be the floor of a modern building, or what, maybe the Broad Marsh Centre. And as I said, I've walked up there hundreds of times, and I had no idea what was beneath my feet. And it just makes you think, what kind of secrets lie beneath all our feet? There's the remains of a well there. See the bucket? There's water down there. Some modern construction there. There's a modern building being built on top of all this. Quite remarkable. Amazing. I never knew about all this, I really didn't. Okay, you can see a map of the caves. As you just about see where modern Broad Marsh shopping centre is there. And there's the entrance. And this is how we went into the caves. These are all the caves we've been through. They go right underneath the shopping centre. We're there. Blimey. I've walked up there hundreds of times. I never knew about all this underneath. I'm just going to walk along further along here now. There's a sort of like a normal wall to my right, because this was kind of like part of. Here's the old wall of the cave, and this is the modern brick wall of the shopping centre development. It's quite narrow. I can only just fit through here. I bashed my head a couple of times. Ooh, I'm glad I've got this hard hat on, I must say. Now what have we here? Oh my god! We're shocked there's a bloke standing in the corner. A woman. Pardon me, madam. There's a toilet, I think. What does that say on that sign?
Across to the other side of Drury Hill, and I'm looking towards the
Down
rear
focus.
cellars of numbers 2939.
Toilet. I swear that's a toilet.
And the buildings were destroyed early in the 20th century during the construction of the railway.
Yeah. Did you hear? We can actually hear traffic.
There's a bloke in the toilet, you can see his feet.
Yeah. There's a bloke in the toilet. But you can actually hear the noise of traffic above our heads. Can you hear the sound? You can hear cars going by above our heads. I'll just go to the audio thing again. So it's what's this? Number 12, basements. There we go.
The first boom in Nottingham's lace trade in the early 19th.
Look at that. There's an old picture from Nottingham. It's a scene from that film with Albert Finney, about the guy who works in a bike factory. Is it Saturday night, Sunday morning? Based on a play. Alan Sillitoe play. The panel of TV viewers have Stain has just pointed out something very interesting to me, and these huge footprints, they're enormous. And they go all the way along here. I don't know if how many you can see them, but I have a size 12 feet, and these are almost double the size of my feet, and they run along this old rock underneath here. Makes me wonder what. Look at that, yeah. And who or what has feet that size? Obviously, they came down to these caves long ago. If these really are footprints. And there's some more of the. This is where it is. It was right underneath people's homes, so there were people living down here. But these are not human feet. They're too big. As Stain said, it was like the Sasquatch. Oh, where are we now? It goes down a long way. Look at all that down there. Okay, archaeology.
If you look at this section of the wall closely, you will see yet more evidence of the archaeological change that has occurred over more than 700 years. The traces of shuttering fibre in the concrete beam that you see more examples of the foundations of the 1970 shopping centre. Below that you see much of the backfill that contains the rubbish and brick debris from the 18th and 19th century factories and housing that once stood on this site. Lower still you will see the light and dark brown bands that contain the decomposed and compressed remains of what was once probably a medieval cesspit.
Oh, God.
The wide concrete pillar on the opposite side.
We're in a cesspit, everybody. That's the remains of shit.
Soars up
Pardon
to
me.
the ceiling to support the Nottingham tramway that runs directly over the top of this area. The constant vibrations of the trams are continuing to shake the caves, dislodge small pockets in the sandstone, walls and ceilings. The situation that we continue to monitor.
That's above our heads is the tramway.
When you are ready, please make your way down the small flight of steps in front of you.
Oh, this is
Please
spooky.
be very careful on these steps, as they can often be wet and slippery. So
We're going
please use
down.
the handrail provided.
Down
Please
into the
also
depths.
take care to mind your head in this area, as the cave
I will.
ceiling is quite low.
I'm definitely glad of.
Please pause in the next cave, and on the handset scroll to number 14.
Oh, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. This was one of the risks of being tall. Oh, where are we now? Sam Hancock. Look at this.
There's your wine, your red wine bag.
Oh, that'll see me at least through to the weekend, I'm sure. There's a good old portering sack truck, takes me back to my hospital days. And there's the remains of the cesspit again. All right. This is the remains of a pub cellar and underground tavern. Look at this. the history of
And we were deeply
Sandstone
offended
Cave
by
of
the shoddy
Nottingham.
articles that were resulting
Look,
from use
the
of
reptiles.
techniques and cheap, unskilled labour.
Most of us worked at home and found too that our rents were increasing constantly. When peaceful attempts to protect
There's something in
ourselves
the box.
failed, we felt forced to resort to violence.
The rioters appeared suddenly in armed parties.
Sandstone Cave of
Chief
Nottingham.
Commander, be he whomsoever he may, is styled General Ludd.
Tells you what the history of the caves.
Ludd is invoked at night in the Devils.
You can't blame the people for rioting.
Its authority is to push immediate death. The very daring of their exploits and their loyalties to each other captured the hearts and minds of the working class. Defying the law on behalf of the helpless, just like from the 1890s to 6 centuries before the new railway. But faced with the death penalty for machine breaking, they was influx of
There's a tram going over here, isn't it? Can you hear that tram? It's weird to think. I mean, this is just like, we've walked on these streets.
Nottingham found itself
Never knew all this.
more riots in 1831.
Look at all them caves. This is the one we've been in. That's the only one that's open to the public. But there's ghost tours in one of the others, but all these others are sealed off. I wonder what was in them. All of which I thought date from post 1200, but that's what they said. But blimey, that's that church at the top of the hill from the road leading from Broad Marsh. Oh, that's there. Sorry, it's that church there, but it's got incredible. And here's another map of the caves. The shops of Nottingham lay hundreds of caves, few people, labyrinths which exist under the city's trees. Over 1,000 years we're here, and these are the caves we've been in underneath Broad Marsh. See, these are the Broad Marsh shopping centre. And there's the Willoughby House caves. And you can't get into these. These are like sealed off. Amazing. Blimey, Alright, I'm back out in the open air. I'm quite glad actually. That place had a very oppressive atmosphere, maybe because of all the suffering that went on down there. And as you saw, these were homes to the poorest people in Nottingham for many hundreds of years. And they were drinking well water out of the same places where their sewage was going, and you can just imagine how many of them died down there away from the sunlight and the fresh air. Well, it was interesting stuff. I mean, as you can see, there are large areas. What we saw was just scratching the surface, basically. There's a lot more down there that is not open to the public, it's not accessible, and some of it never will be. 500 caves there are down here, 500 caves under our feet. Basically, it's like a hidden city. It's like that place in Turkey, was it Petra, or whatever it's called, exists underneath Nottingham. I never knew that. And it just makes you wonder what they found down there. And I mean, I went down there looking really to look for signs, or that there may be something that was being kept from us, the public. And I found nothing definite, but there were those big footprints I found. That was very odd. Very weird. They were definitely footprints, arranged as footprints, extremely large. So I'll remember next time I'm in Nottingham, just think about what might lie beneath our feet. We tend to see the earth as the earth's surface that goes down basically solid to the earth's core, and above us is the atmosphere, which is just air until you get up to the edge of space. But the truth of the matter is, the surface of the earth is much more like the head on a pint of beer. You have open air, then you have a surface, but beneath it is still a lot of open space in terms of caves of various types. Some of them artificial, some of them natural. These caves include things like what we've just seen, caves carved out by hand for people to live in or to store beer barrels in, things like that. And some of them, including the modern era, where you have deep underground military bases like Area 51 and Peasmore. I think this is just the start. I'm going to have to do some more scouting around here and see what else is, if there's any evidence of any more secrets being kept here. But of course, we're just a short distance from the assembly rooms, which are the major Masonic centre in Nottingham. A huge building. It's where we had the Amash conference. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description box to that. And they've said on that audio tour that you can walk through tunnels and caves from Broad Marsh, which is where we are here, the Broad Marsh shopping centre, to the Victoria Centre, which is about half a mile away. So we're talking about an underground city here. Most of it secret, kept from the public. I wonder what's down there. I really do. And who knows, one day we might find out. Anyway, thank you for watching very much indeed. This has been a Panwo TV at the Nottingham Caves. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.